You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the big show. As always, for 16 years and 2,400 episodes, we've been doing the Chris Voss Show. Is it 20? Yeah, it's 2,400. I'm starting to lose my mind. The 16 and 24, I'm getting mixed up. I'm dyslexic in the brain, folks. Anyway, guys, welcome to the big show. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTokity, and all those crazy places on the interwebs in the sky. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today's featured author comes to us from bookstolifemarketing.co.uk. With expert publishing to strategic marketing, they help authors reach their audience and maximize their book success. Today, an amazing young man on the show. We're going to be talking about his book, his insights, and some of the cool things that he's writing about, talking about, and all this good stuff. His book is out June 22nd, 2023, called Adventures in Time, My Only Regret. This might be a biography of me. Pete Hartgraves joins us on the show. We're going to get into it with him, what's inside his book, and why you should buy it now and read about it. Peter is a retired school counselor who has always had a love of reading books of fiction. After retiring, he decided to combine this love with his love of history. He's placed 3 kids from the 21st century into the time periods of the most famous historical events. The adventures they have in space and time will leave readers in awe at the people they meet and the things they don't put into history books. Because, you know, there's only so much they can put in those darn books. Anyway, welcome to the show. How are you, Pete?
I'm doing quite well. How are you doing today?
I am doing excellent. Give us your .coms. Where do you want people to look you up on the interwebs?
Mainly, I've got, amzn.to. I've got barnesandnoble.com, walmart.com. I believe I also have target.com. In all these have book departments, and you just type in my name and it'll pop up, or type in my book title.
So give us a 30,000 overview. What's inside your new book?
The new book, like I said, I send my kids to the past. They don't know where they're going. So they have to seek around to find where they are, what historical event they're there to see. And through the book, I get the culture surrounding the event. The first event is the Revolutionary War period, and they find out why some people are afraid to leave England, and some people want to leave England. That's the Tories and the Patriots. And in there, I have a lot of adventures. Like I say, it's a good book.
So, is this your first book you've written?
It actually, yes, it is my first book.
Oh,
I've written a lot of books since then. It's not the first one I got published. It's actually the second one I've published.
Okay.
But it's the first one I've written.
What do you think people find most interesting about the book or come away with when they read it?
Another look at history. For instance, this book deals with Nathan Hale, who was George Washington's spy in Long Island, and he was captured. And it deals with why he was where he was, what was going on around him, what other people thought about him, what all the things that go into it.
And why were you intrigued by that? What drew you to put that in the book?
Well, as a school counselor, I loved reading and I loved history, and I wanted to combine the two. And I mentioned that in my about the author segment, but also I had been reading on the Revolutionary War period and Nathan Hale's part in that. And I thought that was very interesting and intriguing. So I went ahead and wanted to, when I first had the idea of sending my kids back in time and witnessing historical events, that came to mind. I could take them there and see what's really going on.
No.
A lot happens that isn't mentioned in the history books.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a lot that we talk about, and a lot of things got lost. Some of it, they stick pretty narrow. They just hit the highlights. Yeah. So what inspired you to write the book? What was the motivation behind it?
When I heard kids say that they hated to read, I would just cringe inside, because when I'm reading, I feel like I'm inside the book. I do love fiction. I love historical fiction. And I feel like I'm going through the same things the protagonists of the book are going through. I want others to have that same feeling. I worry that reading today, reading might be going by the wayside with all the video games and AI programs and all that. I am concerned about books.
Yeah, it sure seems to be. Let me tell you, sure seems to be. It sure seems to be the way things are going that way. What do you when you wrote the book, what prompted you to start writing? Had you been writing most of your life, or was this anew for you, or were you just kind of had been writing things and you're waiting to find the right thing? Is the word.
That's almost it right there. I love writing, but I've never sat down to write a book. I had never sat down to write a book. I couldn't organize my thoughts. It takes a lot to get everything the way you want it. Learn about how to map out a book, but that didn't help me at the time. Then I found I had some extra time on my hand, and I sat down and just started writing, and I couldn't stop. I went upstairs, got on my computer, and wrote and wrote and wrote. Hardly saw my wife. This is during the summertime when I wasn't working, and hardly saw my wife at all, because I'd come down for meals, bedtime, and then go right back upstairs and keep writing. And it was really an experience.
Well, awesome sauce. You definitely got into it. And how did you know that it was going to work out? I mean, you just kind of, we have a lot of people listen to the show that want to be book writers. How did you know it was going to work out? Or did you just say, I'm just going to build it and see if they come?
No, actually, I didn't know it was going to work out. In fact, I put my book in a closet and didn't touch it again for a decade.
Oh, really?
And then I published my first book. It was a children's book. I was a school counselor, and I had a 5th grade teacher ask me to do a lesson on tattletelling. I couldn't find a book on tattletelling anywhere. So I went in the classroom and told the story of Gail the Tattletale Snail. Now, after I retired, I thought, I could do something with that, because it explains how Gail learns the difference between tattling and reporting. And I went ahead and wrote it out and got it published. And it's a children's book. And then I thought, wait a minute, I have some other books around here somewhere. And so I pulled this out of the closet and kind of rewrote it. I had to rewrite everything because I had written it in past tense. I wanted it in present tense. I wrote it in 20th century. I wanted it to be 21st century. I had to do a lot of changes to it.
Yeah.
But I found it and rewrote it, and it's a great book.
Yeah. Do you see yourself writing a sequel to it?
I already have, Chris. I wrote book 2. In fact, I got a call from the publisher today. Book 2 is out, ready to go. They just needed to confirm the title, so it just has to be printed and ready to go. Book 3 is written, and it's ready to be sent to the publisher, and I'm writing book 4 right now.
Oh, wow. You are on a tear there, buddy.
It's a lot of fun.
Oh,
It really is.
Yeah. So can you
Historical fiction is
tease
fun.
out the other 4 book titles so people can you tease out the other 4 book titles so people can find them?
The second book title, right now they're named Destination 2, Destination 3, and Destination 4. That doesn't help you find anything out. But the second one has an ulterior title. It's Destination 2, the train versus the railroad. And that title has a lot to do with what's happening inside the book. That book is the most intense of the 4 books, or of the 3 books that are written. It's the most intense. The third book is a little bit lighter, but book 2, they start off in trouble and it doesn't get out of trouble until the end.
Doesn't get out of trouble at the end. Well, that sounds pretty fun. Are there any parts of the history that you like to include in the series but feel like maybe you can't? I don't know, Washington cutting down the cherry tree or something.
Well, that would be fun. But who can say what cherry tree did he cut down? When was it? How old was he? So I would have a hard time finding that. I would love European history. Europe is rich with history, but I have a language barrier. I've got 3 kids that are in high school, and they only know one language. Or if they knew another language, it'd be very spotty. The English language back in the old days, Old English language, was so different than today's language, they still couldn't understand it.
Oh, yeah.
And another side I'd like to go to, I'm reading the Bible right now, and I would love to go take my kids to biblical times. But that'd be great. But again, we got the language barrier and the precise location and time of different events would block me from taking them to certain places. I'd love them to go and see the birth of Jesus Christ, but there's a lot of controversy as to when that was also.
Yeah. There's a few controversies with the old Bible there,
right?
But how it's interpreted and all that good stuff. But hey, man, I'm sure they'll all figure it out. It's not my wheelhouse, so somebody else can deal with that. But with the book, I guess you're Christian. Is your faith part of the series, and is that maybe the lure to bring that in?
There is, and I do a little bit. I don't much. Nothing in book 1 is mentioned. In book 2, a little bit is mentioned. All I learn about book 2 is what their faiths are, and that's it. Book 3, we go into hits a little bit more, but not. Again, the books aren't about faith. These books are about the coming of age of these 3 kids, and the development their personal development can include faith, but that's not what the books are about.
Okay. Give us a rundown when you take a look at how you came up with the title, Adventures in Time. Why did you land on that?
Well, history is chock full of adventures, and I wanted to bring those adventures. I want kids to read my book and be inside the book and be living those adventures with my protagonists. But I use some of the most volatile times in history and time periods where a lot can happen and a lot of adventures do take place. I've got the pre-Civil War. First book is Revolutionary War, pre-Civil War. I'm doing the Texas Revolution. That's book 3. Book 4, I'm going on. It's not a war, but it's a big adventure in book 4.
Oh, wow.
They find themselves on the Titanic.
Well, we kind of all know that turned out, right?
Yeah. Can't change that.
Can't change that ending. might be fun if you did, but
yeah,
we all
I might
know.
try to. I'll see if they can do. These are resourceful kids. You never know what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, think about it this way. Maybe they're kids that go back in time and change the past.
That's right.
Yeah, it might be
Maybe this will inspire kids to do that when they're older.
Yeah, go change the past, read some books, get educated, and change the past, make a difference in the world. That might be fun. So, with the kids, are they are there protagonists in the books? Are they Christian?
Yes and no. I've got the voice of the book. He's an atheist, and like I say, book 2, I mentioned what their faiths are. He's an atheist. Joanne, who is a very bold character, is a Christian, but she's a lukewarm Christian. She goes to church on Easter and Christmas and when family comes in town. But Bobby, he's my evangelist. He is not afraid to talk about his faith, and he's a powerful character.
And with these characters that you have in the book, what's the character that you relate to the most?
Well, at first I thought I was going to relate to Billy the most. He's the voice of the book. It's written in his voice. But as I've proofread and edited and proofread again, I highly admire Joanne's boldness. I really do, because she's a very strong character. Probably stronger than either of the boys, but Bobby's the one I admire the most. Bobby, he's the one I'd most like to be like. He is always there to help the underdog. In any fight, he's the one that is going to be taking up for the one that can't take up for himself. He's always considerate to others, and he's not afraid to speak what he believes. He's also a strong character, but a more subtle character than Joanne.
Oh, and so you like him the most? So you got that
I
going.
think so. I would like to be like him the most.
And then, for what age group would you say these books are written?
These books can be a relaxing read for any age group, because history is not always pretty. I don't want young people. I guess if you're 4th grade and under, you probably shouldn't read these books, because history is not always pretty. But they're written so as not to intimidate anyone. I've had a lot of adults read the book, and they've really enjoyed them. But if I were to pick an age group that these books are designed for, I'd probably say 5th grade or 10 years old up through 8th or 9th grade, 14, 15 years old.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good age. With that, do you, besides the 4 books, now there's 4 books in the Adventure Time series, right? Have you written any other books?
I have. I've written, like I mentioned earlier, the Gale the Tattletale Snail book. And I've actually got 7 more books coming out in that series.
7? Holy crap. You are prolific, my friend.
I'm having fun.
Yeah.
In those books, I cover things like bossy behaviors. I even cover type 1 and type 2 diabetes. I cover, staying with it, not procrastinating. I cover a lot of good topics that kids need. Sharing.
Oh, sharing's good.
Yeah. So, but
share, kids.
Do what?
Gotta learn to share, kids.
Gotta learn to share. Gotta learn to share. I've got a book on families, not doing your best, not trying, those things.
Yeah, you got to do your best. You got to try your hardest and all that sort of good stuff. So you try and put lessons in there, it sounds like, for young kids so that they can learn the importance of these lessons, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. The classroom or the books take place in a classroom setting, but they're not just for classrooms. They're for behaviors throughout life. How to get along with others, not be so bossy, things like that. And I've tried to instill characters. I've tried to instill what am I trying to say? I've tried to instill emotions in the characters. I relate to all the characters now, but some of them, like I said, I've got one with diabetes, type 1, and the teacher's a hippo, and she has type 2 diabetes. I just have a lot of fun. I try to combine what's going on with that character with the type of animal, like the sloth is lazy, that sort of thing.
Lazy sloth.
Lazy sloth.
Darn sloths are always being lazy. They need a job.
Yes. I'm also right now writing a book to help Christians talk about their faith with others.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm writing a novel right now.
Oh, and tattling is something you go after, the tattletale snail. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay.
I like that title, tattletale snail.
Gail, who's trying to help, ends up tattling all of her friends. And of course, that's causing her friends to be upset at her and get mad at her. And it shows through the first half of the book that she's not happy. Mm-hmm. And this is a children's book, so it's got great pictures in it. But after she learns the difference between tattling and reporting, I give good examples of what is tattling and what should just be let go, what is not important. Mm-hmm. And the definition I give is that if someone is going to get hurt, or if someone's going to hurt themselves, that's not tattling, that's reporting. But
okay.
Most of the things that kids tell on is just tattling.
Yeah. Of
course,
doing that tattling.
I have a lot of parents that say, I like that. I find out what's going on through that.
So you're being really prolific. When did this turn on for you? When did you start writing and you're like, hey, man, this is what I want to do?
Like I said, it started years ago. But then when I retired in 2017, I thought, I need something to, I can write, I can publish the book, Gail the Tattletale Snail, because I already had the story. And then I just started and couldn't stop again. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
Well, it's and does it take you long to write? Are there any processes that you use that work really well for you?
I read a lot.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. And reading the other books from other writers gives me ideas to put into my stories. So, I'm not saying I plagiarize, but I'll read something, I'll say, and I'll circle it because I want to use that in this, in this event. So
gives you some ideas on different variances that you can utilize. Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing people do with, books and reading books, and it inspires them, influences them. And then same thing with music. You learn to play other people's music, and then you start developing your own from what you learn there. Very good. Yeah. Awesome sauce. So I've lost count. You've got some different series going with 7 books and I think 4 books. And how many books are in the works, or do you maybe plan on putting out, or is this run probably?
There's going to be 4 in the Adventures in Time series. Mm-hmm. Right now, there's 8 in the Gail the Tattletale Snail series.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the Christian book, and I have so that's 13, and then I have my novels 14.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what's that? 14 books I'll have.
Yeah.
And I'm not done with Gail the Tattletale Snail either. I'm going to have more books coming out in that series. I think Adventures in Time is going to end at 4. Maybe, I don't know.
What's some of your advice to people who, we've had people that wrote their first book when they were like 90 or 100 or something like that on the show. What's your advice to people on, because some people are like, I'm too old to write a book. I should have done that when I was younger. I don't really have the chops for it. What are some of your advice you give to people on that?
Well, when you're working, it's hard to find time. I was fortunate because had some weeks off in the summertime, and that's how I got started. After I retired is when I really got going on it, though. You have to set aside time to get it done. For the older people, I say do it. There is nothing wrong with spending time writing a book. And the older people probably have more life experiences that they can share and make things go easier on the rest of us. Or maybe I'm considered an older one now. I don't know. The rest of you.
The rest of you, somebody I was telling a young man, a 30-year-old today, a story, and he goes, it's really great that old people like you remember that stuff. And it was a different world back then. Like, right. Old people? What?
Not me.
Not me. I was like, I just passed it back. Like, it's really good. You children really enjoy stories like that.
Good.
It's all good fun. So what else do you want to tell us before we go out that we should know about how you're doing and what you're doing, and any consulting or coaching you do, or any other services maybe you offer to people?
Well, I like talking in classrooms about writing, and the main thing I tell people is don't be afraid to just sit down and start writing. Because that's where you get the proofreading. I mean, you're going to go back through it over and over and over again and make it better and better and better and better. But you have to start somewhere.
Always got to start somewhere. Starting somewhere. Oh, that good stuff. So final thoughts as we go out, give people a pitch to order up your book and all that good stuff in your .coms.
All right. Go to amazon.com or barnesandnoble.com, walmart.com, type in author or books, Pete Hartgraves, and that should bring up my books. And I've got hardback, paperback. I've got the digital version. So read these books. I think that you'll get a lot out of them.
And they're great for kids. It's really important kids read. We were having this discussion the other day on the show where, kids, they get these electronic devices. They're basically born with an iPad in their hand. They need to read books. It develops the mind. It develops the imagination. When you see everything all the time and, your images are fed to you, there's really no sort of play there for imagination.
That's
and
good.
So, yeah, if you can have that sort of play and imagination, I think it expands your mind. It makes you think for yourself as opposed to just sitting there going, watching, the Kardashians being fed to you or something. I'm sure they're wonderful people. Anyway. It's imagination, and it's such a great time for children at that age too, to delve into their imagination, to develop it. Certainly my imagination from being a child helped me be innovative in my companies and imaginative in my business, and going, there's got to be a way to make it better, I think. So thank you very much, Pete, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great show. And thanks so much for tuning in. Order up his books wherever fine books are sold. The first one in the series, Adventures in Time, My Only Regret, out June 22, 2023. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time. That show us out, man.